Oh, I love it when I can figure out technology easily. Hi, everybody. It's June. La la la. We've made it into almost the middle of the year at record speed. That's what my body is telling me anyway. And we're so excited to be here for June Astro-Healing Circle. Velen has some beautiful things to share. Let's start by just arriving. Let's do that. So just a reminder that you are not on the recording. We are recording, so welcome those of you who are visiting us on recording. I know there are a number of you. And you will not be, those of you who are here live this evening will not be seen on the recording unless you unmute yourself and choose to share while the recording is on, and then you will be on the recording. So that would be Velen and me, but other than that, no. So let's just take a moment. And we're going to wiggle our toes and wiggle our fingers. So locate the extremities of your body. It's like the outermost points, right? And you can even stretch your arms and legs out like a star if you want. This is actually a great yoga pose that I used to love to do. You usually do it standing, of course, but just for now, if you want to stand up, you can, of course. No rules here. But just feeling the outer edges of that auric field. And of course, also, it can go much, much bigger. But in this moment, feeling those edges, and then slowly bringing the hands back, the feet back. Maybe the feet are going to land on the floor underneath you, and bring the hands to the heart. Lots of heart energy today. As I said, Velen will talk about that. And just breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Feeling your heart. Yesterday we had a beautiful practice in our inner wisdom circle with Leanne Kavanaugh. She's not on this list, but what a gorgeous practice she offered. She's an astrologer, and that's how Velen knows her, but she also runs circles, and she did a beautiful ritual with us to bring us back to a deep love, self-appreciation for our bodies, our physicalness. So let's do that in mini for ourselves right now and just feel into how the physical heart just keeps beating, just keeps doing her thing. How extraordinary, how magical. And notice how the heartbeat, to some extent, aligns with the breath. And just notice your breath as you breathe in through the nose, nice and deep down into the belly, and then out through the nose, settling your sits bones down, really feeling your feet connect with the earth. And take a moment to just drop your attention down about 18 inches below your feet. Feel that earth star activating. We've got some Taurus energy coming up tonight. And then I'm going to invite Valen to speak to us about what it is that Zora had to say, Zora's message for us for this particular group. And also to remind everybody that I'll be doing some energy work in the background this evening. And if you would prefer not to be included, please go ahead and message me in the chat, either privately or collectively. No problem at all. No worries. It's completely up to you. I don't need to know why you don't want to be included, but if you're it's just not for you today, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, know that I will include you. Okay, go for it, Vala.
Okay, so this is the message that came through yesterday. Greetings. As we observe the healing growth, transformation, and the acknowledgement of the challenges that guide you forward, we recognize in each and every one of you that the light that shines forth as you follow your individual soul journey. There is a moment now in all of the change that is occurring, all of the inner dynamic shifts that are echoed in the external experience, to pause and rejuvenate, to fully support and nurture your own inner light. Recognize that the changes that are occurring on an individual level all guide you back to your own beauty and sense of worth. It is a profound time of transformation that you are experiencing both collectively and individually. When you are aligned to your own individual path, the support for your unique unfolding is supported and encouraged. This is the time to rest in an inner safety that is provided for each of you. Make time to recognize the gifts that flow through your life on all energetic levels that support who you truly are in essence.
So as always, just sink into the frequency of that. When Lee Harris channels the Z's, they say that just listening to the channeled messages brings you into a different vibration, into a different frequency. So feel into that for yourself. And we're going to move right into talking about Uranus square the nodes. Yay!
Yay. So we actually, in June, we have, I'm not going to say it's not a slower month, but there is a little bit of a breather astrologically, which is really lovely. And I'm going to talk about that towards the end because it's a time to really take advantage of that. But this is one of the pushes in our, I'll say, our evolutionary journey, where Uranus, the planet of awakening and insights and breakthroughs and breakdown to breakthrough, like change, that level of opening, comes into contact with the nodes of the moon. And the nodes of the moon, the north and south north and south node, are about our fate, our destiny, what our soul has come in to learn, and where our soul and where we choose to move away from old patterns that may feel really comfortable, but we don't really need anymore, may feel very familiar, but we can let go of. So this dynamic that we are going to be experiencing this month creates a little bit of a tension, and which is, once again, a really beautiful thing, because Uranus is always saying, be authentic. And the node, especially the north node, is what's my soul purpose? What's my fate? What's my destiny? Where am I growing? So these two coming together, there is a little bit of a push here for us. It's an activation of this part of our life, and it'll be different for everybody. But Uranus in itself, in Gemini, is going to bring sudden events, awakening, sudden information that are going to point you towards your future path, your soul growth. So to be aware that there may be things coming into your life that you're unexpected. And that the gift of the unexpectedness is to shake up anywhere that's become stagnant. It's like, whoa, I didn't see that information coming, or I didn't see that event happening. And all of that is for you to say, oh, there's a place here that needs to be, there's pieces that need to be let go of. So part of this is allowing ourselves to see from a new perspective. And as we move into this, the North Node is going to be in Pisces for a little bit longer. It's going to shift really soon. And that is our intuition. So where our intuition becomes clearer, we may be able to see beyond old patterns. So through this particular time, this particular astrology, we're going to get a piece of what am I ready to release? What old pattern do I not need? Pieces that feel comfortable, feel safe. What places can I put down now? And trust that inner guidance that's leading us forward. So Uranus is a real disruptor. So it wants to shake things up. And what can happen in these disruptions is it may show you places in you that are ready to evolve, that you may not even have considered, but something comes up and there's a place where can I let go? Where can I release my need for perfection or for anxiety or for worry? Maybe needs not quite, but the habit of it. And I'm going to say, because we're in a time where so much is shifting and we really can't fully see what the future is still at this point. We're getting closer and closer, and certain July we'll be getting a much better idea. But when I look at perfection, I think the perfect plan. We don't have to have the perfect plan. We don't have to know the future anymore. What we're being called to in this particular relationship with these planets is to actually surrender to our knowing, to our inspiration, to our intuition with compassion. So, where things get shaken up this month, often to do with, oh, I've gotten stuck somewhere. And part of me goes, you know what, I'm really ready to move on from this. And what we can do is just trust that we are being held and guided. And if we're in the flow, we don't have to be perfect. And we don't even have to know what we're going to do. We don't have to have the perfection of the plan that we're going to follow. We don't need that. That's not what's asked for here. And there's another piece of this is that Uranus being in Gemini, Gemini's of the mind. Lots of information, lots of ideas, lots of communications, all lovely. But we're at a place too where we need to be able to incorporate our own inner knowing separate from the mind. So shift from the mind giving us what we know to be true in the world, and then to incorporate what our inner knowing is. And this is going to be really true for quite a long time because there's so much external world that we can't trust as real. Really, once again, I think I've said this every single month, but we need to trust what we know for ourselves. And there's a piece here that I'm sure it'll be curious to know what your perspective is on this, but this sense that our reality is shifting, that time's shifting, that things are becoming more fluid. We're not, it's almost like there are times in the day, in our life, and that it feels like we've shifted out of, or we step out of linear time for one reason or another, whether time's going so fast, it doesn't feel like it's normal. It'll be different for everyone, but really to be open to that because we're coming into a new way of being and we're learning to navigate a new energy. And part of that is the speeding up of time, new ideas flowing through us. There's a new reality that's awakening in us. And Gemini is words and it's ideas and it's our story. So we're really now at a point where we're getting to choose to write a new story for ourselves. And what this particular aspect with the moon, with this is asking, is to make sure it's aligned to your soul purpose. Listen to your soul, be guided. The universe will guide us to really open to that soul's path. And you want to, this is a time to allow this to be activated in your life, to follow, the signs, the synchronicities, the inspiration that comes that is part of that universal guidance that's allowing us to really connect to that part of ourselves. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, I really love this, Valen. Actually, there are several things that have been happening to me that I've only just realized recently, that the delays or the things that weren't working out, quote, quote, the way that I thought that they
Yes.
should or that I wanted to in March or even April, it's all for a reason. And it's absolutely in line with that North Node piece. So I encourage everybody, if you don't know where your North Node is, or if you don't know what your North Node is all about, I encourage you to reach out to Valen and ask her, and or get a nodal reading with her, because she is really, we spend a lot of time fooling around with the moon and with the nodes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big part of how she does her readings in terms of that evolutionary astrology. So I really encourage you to look into these pieces, because we're all being pushed in that direction, and knowing the general gist of what direction you need to go is super helpful, because things are now materializing for me that are only materializing in the way that I want them to because I had that vision and held it for a long time and tried to be as not frustrated as I could be during the time when things were not working out, right? But now that things are jumping forward, there's a leapfrogging. I think that's, for me, the energy of Uranus is that leapfrog energy where there's kind of a sudden, it can be a little jolty, and not necessarily on your timeline. And that's been the case for me. I've been waiting around for, workers to call me, but it's a leap forward, right? There's a leap forward in terms of your bigger picture. So really feeling into that for yourself and just noticing how that shows up for you.
And I'm just going to say, for anyone who knows their chart, the North Node is in Pisces. So if you know where the Pisces part of your chart is, the Virgo piece is a South Node, what old patterns and worries and stories you can release. And the Pisces part of your chart is the part where am I trusting? Where am I being guided by my dreams? Where is intuition working? So that, if you know your chart well enough, you can have a look at that because that will give you some insight as well.
And we have a question for you, Valen. Is the true node the same as what you're talking about? So maybe you can explain.
Yes. There's two ways of looking at the node. There's the true node and the mean node. The true node is the mean node is the average of where the true node's movement through the sky. So it has a little bit of a fluctuation. I actually use the mean node. So ultimately they're exactly the same thing. And so you don't have to worry whether it's the mean or the true. They're close enough. But if you're curious, we can always look at your chart later to see whether there's a difference in the true or mean node in your chart.
And Velen, can you just quickly explain what the nodes are, how we get them?
Yes. The nodes of the moon are where the path of the sun and the path of the moon cross. So there's a north and a south because there's two circles, so they're going to cross twice. And that is where we have eclipses, because if you think about a crossing point, you've got the sun and the moon basically at that point during an eclipse, which is why they block each other. So when it's a total eclipse, these will be exactly at the nodal point, at that crossing point. Sometimes they're wider, we get partial eclipses. That means they're not quite at the crossing point. So that's the astrological explanation of what the node is.
It's like a giant Venn diagram in the sky.
Yeah, there's a good way of putting it. Absolutely. It's just that they're ecliptical and so they don't quite look like that, but it's exactly right. Yeah.
But it's interesting because last night in Inner Wisdom Circle, one of the things that we were playing with was this idea of the coming together of our feminine and our masculine, our yin and our yang, our sun and our moon. Right, which as we enter the opportunity for eclipse season again, gives us that opportunity to play in that space. Yeah. So tonight's first activity is to focus on this idea of disruptions reveal places that are ready to evolve. I think we all know that. I don't think that's surprising. What I've really been working with consciously recently is seeing challenges as true opportunities. So when things don't work out, when things are bugging me, when something's an irritant, to really see it as a gift, an opportunity, and something. Valen's been trying to teach me this for probably about 25 years, but I'm slowly getting it. I'm a bit of a slow learner when it comes to this stuff, but I'm slowly getting it. And so this idea of surrendering to the flow of inspiration and compassion, that actually works. It turns out. If you practice it, it actually works. So the prompt for you is locate a disruption in your life right now. I think, for most of us, that niggly bit, that prickly piece of our life is probably front and center. But if it isn't, give it a little bit of thought and invite a little bit of self-compassion. And so for the energy recalibration, I'm going to invite you to put a word or a phrase that represents your current disruption in the chat. And as you're inviting self-compassion, I will also invite compassion for you, and I will do a little bit of rebalancing and let you know what the energies are calling in. You're muted. Belen, you're muted still.
I was thinking about my disruption. Um,
Your
so
disruption is we can't hear you.
exactly. Anyway, so we've got a really interesting and I think a lovely shift that's going to be happening, and it is going to be happening until 2033. So we're going to get the first taste of Chiron in Taurus. And Chiron is it's called the wounded healer. It's our core wounds, it's about our wisdom, it's teaching, it's mentoring, it's accepting ourselves. There's a whole place about how we open up to the places in ourselves that need to be healed. And Taurus is grounded and stable. There's a place about our values and our worth, having patience and persistence. So it's a really beautiful energy. And because Taurus has so much to do with our values and self-worth, and Chiron coming in saying, this is a time to heal that. So healing our sense of self-worth, our sense of security, and our old survival patterns, what we want to cling to, what makes us feel safe, which may have absolutely had us feel safe over the course of our lifetime, but what pieces in there are we ready to let go of? And there's going to be pieces that come up where we really recognize old values, something that we thought was really important to us, don't align to who we are becoming now. And there's a place here to acknowledge and to accept and to have the compassion for this place, I'm going to say the grieving of letting go of pieces that felt really important one way or another. And sometimes we gain that information through loss, through limitations, through some restriction. It's like all of a sudden, it's like either, oh, I really don't need that anymore, or, oh, that was really important in my life, and I actually do need to integrate that. And I'm going to say, this will be integrating in a new way. So literally paying attention to the pieces that we heal, where we're healing our sense of self and what we value, and to recognize that it may be coming through the sense of not having it anymore. And how does that feel? And there's a part of this, we only have right now, it's going to be from June 19th to September 17th. And then it's not back until 2027. So we're getting a taste. And whenever we get a taste, a hint, a preview of what energies are coming that we're going to be working with for a number of years, it's really great. So over the course of the summer, just to start to pay attention to what's really important to us and how we support our self-worth, how we really allow that, how we allow ourselves to be valued, how we value ourselves. All of these pieces are going to be part of what this looks like. And there's another piece about Taurus. It's sustainability. What can we keep on doing? It's the environment, it's the earth, it's the grounding. There's going to be places here where we're going to have to shift what isn't sustainable in our life anymore. There's going to be pieces that come up. It's like, I just can't do that anymore. And I'm going to tie that right back to values and self-worth. There's probably things that we are doing that's like, you know what? That's not me anymore. And I can't keep it up. So we may get hints of that this summer, starting in June. And because Taurus is so grounded, so practical, so real, takes time, but there's really, really reliable changes. This will be the time this summer we're going to be introduced to the fact that, you know what, I actually have to I can't think about this. I can't dream about this. I actually need to, in my life, make practical and grounded, sustainable changes. This is a piece that's going to come up for all of us. And I just had this little quote: what truly makes me feel safe, valued, and supported as I step into a rapidly changing future. And this is our reality. Everything is changing. We're diving now fully into new energies. Nobody on the planet has ever lived them. This has not been part of probably our civilization, literally humanity's civilization reality before. We are all having to navigate this in our own way. And we can't look back. We're making this up as we go along. So there's a piece again that says, what's your guidance? It's what's important to you. Valuing yourself and following what's really important is going to be the way forward. And when I found that picture, I really loved it because it's not, oh, it's on the next slide. That's okay. It's just that it really, to me, was evocative of being in the stillness, the beauty of, I'm going to say, a sunrise with that mist, but not being able to clearly see where we're going. And so the only guidance is being grounded, being embodied, and trusting that, we are being guided forward and we can follow what's important to us. So anyways, now you can switch the slide.
No, I did that by accident.
Oh, I see.
I was just trying to unmute my audio and I flicked the thing too quickly. Talking about managing technology. What was really fun about me seeing this image, and just everybody should know that I often don't see the slides until everything's done. So Valen just sends them to me for editing, because all of the astrological pieces are all hers. And so when that arrived, I was chuckling to myself because those of us of a certain age will be big fans of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, right? And recently I was in meditation and I realized that when I can really hold my vibration in the way that I want to, I have entered the time of the Shire. And so I was feeling like that of being in this space, in this meditative space of being in the Shire. And I took a look at this image and I was like, oh, that's the Shire.
Sure.
I mean, she's
Absolutely.
a little big for a
Yeah.
hobbit, but
Yeah.
it's okay. She can be a giant among hobbits.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Love
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, in terms of real practical and grounded changes in your life right now, consider one simple practical way you can invite more acceptance into your daily life. Now, acceptance may mean all sorts of different things for you. It might mean accepting, the prickliness and the challenges that are in your life right now. It might mean accepting some really super irritating thing in your partner. It might mean loving yourself more. Because we all need to do that, honestly. None of us here, I know you all well enough to know, none of us here love ourselves enough. We're so good at loving other people and caring for other people. And everybody here could use an extra serving of self-love. So, whatever that piece of acceptance is for you, if there's a word that represents it, or just if there's a word that represents that for you, just toss it into the chat, and I'm going to balance everybody for a little more acceptance.
Okay. So this is such a beautiful moment. And what is happening in the sky is Jupiter and Venus are coming together. And I've been walking, my house faces west over Race Lake. And so I've walked out on the deck every single night and watched, just about an hour after sunset, watch these bright, bright, bright lights in the sky getting closer and closer and closer together. So all of you go out and find the western view, and about an hour and a bit after sunset, you will be seeing Venus close to the horizon and Jupiter just a bit off to the side. So actually sort of in this arrangement. It's spectacular. They're beautiful. And you can watch them get closer and closer. So it's very, very cool. Anyway, so I've been doing that and just enjoying the moment of being out there and watching these incredible lights in the sky. And here's a piece of the astrology. Jupiter is called the greater benefic. Venus is the lesser benefic. These are the gift givers in our astrological, planets of the planets. These are the planets that are support us and expand us and bring beauty and grace, all of those things. And so there's this is a moment in the craziness that we've lived for the last couple of years, even, and certainly the intensity that we're building up to in July. This is a moment. They're in the sky already, so I've been just loving watching them, and they're going to be exact June 8th, 9th, but they'll still be in the sky after that, and they're still going to be, Pam Gregory would say, operational. They'll still be affecting us. And Jupiter wants to expand things, its growth and its abundance, its luck, its wisdom. Beautiful. And Venus is about relationships and beauty and harmony and sweetness, love. And so there's a place where Jupiter, it can expand all those lovely things, but it can overdo. We can overdo. If we think of Venus as sweetness, can overdo, and there can be indulgences. All these pieces are actually part of the whole idea. But to take this and know that this energy right now is there for us. It's just this beautiful, expansive energy of compassion, and Venus's creativity. It's the arts. It's making things beautiful, and it's emotional. It can be very healing. This is an absolutely beautiful time in relationships, and also valuing ourselves. Going back to the self-worth. Beautiful time to be working with this because the opportunities are going to be provided to us. So because Venus is about relationships, it's a time to nurture relationships and welcome new ones that are really supportive and heart-based. And to really recognize that this can be something that it can, I'm just going to say, it can even be quietly part of our life. This is not, a big bang kind of energy. There's a sweetness and there's a grace and there's just an uplifted feeling with this, that because we've had a lot of challenging energy and a lot of speed and a lot of fast and a lot of mental energy, it's a beautiful time to really drop into this. And these are both in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is very, very protective. It's nurturing, it's about self-care. So this is a time when we can really make use of it. So really all of June, make use of this time to nurture ourselves, to rejuvenate, to pause, to reconnect to what really matters to us, and to really spend some time, allow some time for this. And the feeling that we can soften into the joy and beauty just in the simplicity, the comfort, a sense of belonging. Like this is what's being invited. And because we've been living such a dynamic and fast and disruptive kind of energy for a while now, this is a moment. We just want to grab this moment and sink into it, soften into it. It's just so beautiful and delicious. And to acknowledge and rest that feeling of grace, kindness, and beauty wherever it is in your life. So just to recognize that those moments, they can be the littlest moment. Doesn't really matter. Like me going out and looking at Venus and Jupiter in the sky, that is grace and it's beauty and it fills me up. And with all of this sweetness and uplifting and expansion in that way, it's also connected in a more sort of dynamic way to the planet Eris. And that is a warrior spirit that is around what's right, what's just, what's fair. She's feisty. It's the sister of Mars. Mars is a warrior planet. She's the sister that is a warrior in herself. And she stands up for what's not right, not what's not right. And so when I thought of that in context with this, I thought of the protective, the self-care, the nurturing. I thought about boundaries and the place where now we may be called to say, you know what? Either I'm taking on someone else's emotions, I'm engaging too much in someone else's drama. This is the time to really pay attention to how we're setting that up for ourselves and where we feel there's pieces in our relationships, in our way that we navigate our world that's not fair, that's not just, what's not right. And Jupiter has been in Cancer for a whole year, and it's about to leave Cancer at the very end of June. So often the way Jupiter works is it spends a year in an area of the life or in a sign and in a sign, and it builds up I'll just say it builds up its gift giving capacity. It builds up the opportunities, and often we can really reap the rewards or step into the opportunities at the end. So June, this month, we get to really pay attention to that and really pay attention to what nurtures us. So we don't want to kind of miss these moments in our busyness. We want to make sure that we pay attention because we will carry that forward into a very dynamic month next month. So we want to already have set, okay, this is the pieces that are nurturing. So it's just a gorgeous time. And I encourage everyone to go out and look at the sky. It's perfect timing. It's before bed. You don't have to be up late. And they're so bright and beautiful. It's spectacular. So
Yeah, I've been watching it in the sky. Has just been perfect for it as well. The
yeah,
sunsets have been extraordinary.
yeah.
I also encourage, again, if you don't know where Cancer is in your chart or what's happening there, I encourage you to reach out to Valen and get some clarity around that for yourself. For me, because my North Node is in Cancer, there's been a lot of action. And how funny that June 8th, 9th is next week. And that's exactly when all this work is going to be getting done here that I've been waiting for over a year. So fun times. Okay. So the focus for you is soften into the joy and beauty found in simplicity, comfort, and belonging. That's that, that Cancerian, soft, squishy piece. Make a simple beauty list of things, experiences, sensations that bring you joy, comfort, and or a sense of belonging. So I'm going to suggest that if something comes up for you now, go ahead and write that down, but just make a note for yourself. Make a simple beauty list and just I carry lists on my phone. Really like at the top, simple beauty. That's what it's called. And then notice over the next month when pieces show up. So for me, that view of Venus and Jupiter is at my kitchen window. So it's a great opportunity when I go to make our evening tea. I take a little extra time, a few extra seconds or a minute, and I just stand there and I gaze out at the sky. Simple beauty, right? That's it. It's that. Or I have a door from my treatment space that goes out onto the deck. Sometimes if I'm really busy, I'll just stop what I'm doing, push it aside, and go stand on the deck and watch the bird feeder or whatever for a few minutes or smell the spring smells. Simple beauty, right? So just finding that way for yourself. Make a list.
So there's more things going on in Cancer. Mercury moves into Cancer. Did it already move in? Hang on. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It's in June. I won't call up my chart. In June, it's moving through Cancer too. And Mercury is about how we think. It's how we communicate. It's our perspective. It's our sharing ideas. And once again, Cancer is nurturing. It's our emotions. It's also our intuition. And it's protecting that sensitive part of ourself. And that protection, in astrology, the symbol of Cancer is the crab. So it's the soft underbelly with the hard shell. That's the Cancer piece, very much about protecting ourselves. So with all of this Cancer energy that we can see in the sky, and Mercury will also be in the evening sky soon. It's not right now because it's too close to the sun, but it will soon be in the evening sky. So there'll be 3 planets you'll be able to see, which will be stunning. So what we want to do, since Jupiter is coming to the end of a year through Cancer, is to reflect on last year, the pieces that have really nurtured you through whatever your experiences are, whatever that looks like. And once again, yes, if you know the Cancer part of your chart, that may be part of, might give you some more information around this. And to recognize that we want to find and maintain boundaries that are going to be safe, that are going to be supportive, that we're going to feel emotionally safe without being overly protective. And because Jupiter can expand everything and blow everything up, part of that can be the Cancerian nature to be really, really protective. We're seeing that in the outer world with the borders, because countries are represented by Cancer. The borders being right now, strict, very, very super protective. But we can do this for ourselves emotionally. Sometimes we can cut ourselves off by being too self-protective. So just to find a way to really acknowledge what supports us without mm, without cutting ourselves off from what might be an experience that it might even be outside of that place that feels safety, but is really enriching and expanding. And Mercury, because it's about communication and interactions with people, this is a beautiful time to have heartfelt and meaningful conversations. And what's happening, I don't know if I've got this down here, so I may be jumping ahead, but Mercury is going to be going retrograde in Cancer. And so normally it might be 3 to 4 weeks. Mercury will sort of go through a sign really quickly. In this case, we are going to have Mercury in Cancer until August. So we're really, really going to get to explore this. We're going to get to think about it, but it's communication. So that nurturing communication, meaningful, thoughtful, maybe guided through intuitiveness. Like those pieces are something that's going to be that's available to us. So we can open to perspectives, Mercury, our mind, that come from our intuitive knowing and guided by our emotional wisdom. So the Cancer, we've had a whole year of Jupiter in Cancer. What emotional wisdom can we draw on from our experiences over the course of the last year? This is beautiful, and to really acknowledge the pieces that we find in ourselves in that way. And this is just kind of a general one because we're now halfway through 2026. We're charting a new path. We're trusting. We're being guided intuitively. We are getting to choose how we want to walk our new path, how we want to manifest it. And the choice is we can choose a higher frequency. We can choose the heart-centered opening. We can choose to attune as much as we can to grace and to gratitude and to love. Those are choices. And I guess I put this on this slide because Mercury is mind and it's making choices. But there's a place here that applies to this whole year. And to recognize that that's a very important choice we make. And we do that moment to moment. It's not a big thing. I mean, it is a big thing, but it's more aligning it to the day to day, to the practicality, and to recognize where I'm definitely not in my high frequency right now. But to know that when we notice that and can choose and can stop ourselves or can adjust, it's part of how our new path, our new way of being and adjusting to the new energies is unfolding. So because there's so much of all of this change going on, finding ways to ground ourselves, to create the inner safety, that Cancer place. Oh, I feel safe. And to find ways to calm the nervous system and quiet the mind, which is going to be with the acceleration of time and the things that may come in and disrupt your life, which is what I'm living with these days, is we need to find our own individual way to ground and to calm the nervous system, to find that quietness. This is essential in the wildness of what we're living and the excitement of what we're living at this incredible time. And each one of us is going to do it differently. So I definitely look at the sky, Venus and Jupiter for sure right now, but in general, I go out and I look at the sky and I breathe in the sky. That's, I'm an astrologer, so that makes sense to me. But everyone's going to find their own way, and to find the places where we can feel emotional safety and can feel grounded and solid, so that the incredible jolting of our nervous system has a way to calm itself, so that we can stay healthy, grounded, and have a way forward through that path, through that way of being.
And so I'm going to actually take us back to that simple beauty list. And we've already had a couple of people make some comments about the simple beauty list that they might be working with. One person said gardening, another person said poppies blooming.
Mm.
Valen talked about looking at the sky. And Jeanette has said, Pam Gregory mentioned the delete key, using a phrase that reminds us of the subtle reality is more real than the physical. Mine is spirit is here.
Mm.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, spirit is here. So really working with whatever tools, and if you would like more tools, you know where to find us. But for now, we're just going to focus on open to perspectives arising from intuitive knowing and guided by emotional wisdom. So in Inner Wisdom Circle, we talk a lot about intuitive knowing, but the emotional wisdom is that cosmic heart connection that helps us to work with that intuitive knowing. So you have that voice inside that gives you that little intuitive hit. And the emotional wisdom is the piece that helps you walk it out as a human in your real world. And that's a lot of, really this is a full circle back to the nodes, right? Because that, to me, that North Node is our evolutionary way of being in both the intuitive knowing and the emotional wisdom. So when intuitive knowing and emotional wisdom come together, that's when we're in that evolved place or that evolved state. And it doesn't mean that everything around us is hunky-dory or that everything goes smoothly or, that surprises don't occur, right? So about a week ago or so, it was like, oh, surprise, your partner's going out west for 3 weeks. Oh, okay. So, I think that we need to be in this place of just being in that flow, but being aligned with both that intuitive knowing and the emotional wisdom. So the prompt for you is, how does emotional wisdom show up for you? How does emotional wisdom show up for you? So we are going to pause the recording now, and I'm going to encourage everybody to kind of sit with that for a bit. And we're going to... Okay, well, thanks for joining us, everyone. That's it for us for this evening. We are meeting next on the Wednesday, the 8th of July, because of the July 1st and July 4th summer holidays. So our Astro-Healing Circle will be a little bit later in the month, the 8th of July, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful time with you then. Until then, enjoy this time of pause and beauty.